The first thing I saw that morning was the bank notification blinking on my phone like a warning flare. I didn't even have my glasses on yet, but the red text, "Account overdrawn," cut through my sleep like a blade. My heart dropped straight into my stomach. I sat up in bed so fast my back cracked, and for a few seconds, I just stared at that message, hoping I was still dreaming. But when I blinked again, rubbed my eyes, and unlocked the screen, the truth slammed me in the chest. My mortgage savings account, the one I'd spent 7 years building, the one I guarded like it was the last fragile piece of hope I had, was empty. Not low, not compromised. Empty. My fingers shook as I scrolled through the transactions. There they were, 4 withdrawals, all in the last 3 days. All maxed out, all transferred to an account I recognized instantly because I'd memorized those numbers years ago from co-signing a car loan that she later defaulted on. It was my sister, Denise. My breath caught somewhere between my ribs. No, I whispered, but the numbers didn't change. My entire life savings, $58,420, gone. My future evaporated in a way only family can do. The kind of betrayal you never prepare for because you never ever believed they'd go that far. I called her, straight to voicemail. I called again. Same thing. My hand was trembling so badly I dropped my phone on the carpet. I could feel my pulse in my temples and my fingertips, in my teeth. My mortgage approval had just come through last Friday. I was supposed to submit my final documents on Monday. I'd already bought boxes. I'd already pictured the soft blue curtains in my new bedroom. I'd walked through that house twice and whispered to myself, I made it. Now everything was falling apart. And the only person who could have done this, who had access, who had my trust, was the woman I shared a bedroom with growing up. The woman Mama always swore I should help out because she ain't as strong as you. The woman who cried on my shoulder when her third boyfriend in 2 years cheated on her. The woman I gave rides to when her car broke down. The woman I loaned money to, money she never paid back, but I kept forgiving her anyway. I grabbed my keys and drove to her apartment so fast I barely remember the route. When I banged on the door, the hallway lights flickered like even the universe was warning me to turn back. Denise, I shouted, open this door. I know you're in there. No answer, but I could hear movement inside, feet shuffling, something being dragged, maybe shoved against the wall. My stomach twisted. I knocked again, louder. Denise, you took my money. Open this damn door before I kick it open. The hallway door behind me creaked, and old Mr. Turner peeked out. Everything all right, Miss Yvonne? He asked, tying his robe. No, I whispered, voice cracking. Everything is not all right. Finally, after another 30 seconds of silence, the lock clicked. The door cracked open just 2 inches, enough for me to see her face. She looked exhausted, eyes swollen, hair all over the place, lips trembling, but guilt sat in her expression like heavy makeup she couldn't hide. Yvonne, she whispered, I didn't want you to find out like this. My whole body went cold. So you did do it. She closed her eyes. I'm sorry. You're sorry? My voice rose, echoing down the hallway. You stole my entire mortgage fund, money I worked overtime for, money I saved instead of taking vacations, instead of buying things I needed, instead of living. And you took it like it was a plate of food I left on the counter? She opened the door wider, but didn't step aside. I needed help. You always need help, I snapped. But this, Denise, this is criminal. She flinched, but she didn't deny it. Didn't even try. That hurt more than anything. I was behind on rent, she whispered, barely audible. I owed some people money. I didn't have a choice. There's always a choice, I hissed. And you chose to ruin me. Silence spread between us like smoke. For a moment, I expected her to break down, to fall into my arms begging for forgiveness, or at least explain more. But instead, she wrapped her arms around herself and leaned against the door frame like she was the victim, like she was the one who deserved sympathy. That's when I realized she'd already spent it, or lost it, or owed it to someone who didn't care about my future, my plans, my dream of finally becoming a homeowner after years of scraping by. I felt something inside me collapse. Not my hope, no, that was too strong, but something softer, something tender, something that believed family meant safety. I wiped my eyes with the back of my hand. Give me back my money. I can't, she said. My knees nearly buckled. Can't. Or won't. She wouldn't look me in the eye. My world tilted. I stepped back, breathing hard, trying not to pass out. Losing money was one thing. Losing trust? Losing the last lifeline I had was something else entirely. Yvonne, please don't call the police, she begged, reaching for my arm. I jerked away. Don't touch me. And that was the moment something shifted between us. A quiet, cracking sound that felt like the end of whatever sisterhood we had left. I backed away from her door. I'm done, I whispered. I don't know what comes next, but I'm done with you. Before she could say another word, I turned and walked down that hallway, each step heavier than the last because I knew the truth. My sister didn't just steal my money, she stole the home I was supposed to move into next month, and I had no idea where I was going to sleep tonight. I sat in my car for almost 20 minutes before I could even turn the key. My hands were still shaking, and every time I blinked, I saw Denise's face, tired, guilty, empty, and the hollow way she'd said, I can't. Those two words echoed in my skull like a cruel lullaby, soft but sharp enough to cut through bone. I kept asking myself how I didn't see it coming, how I didn't notice the desperation in her voice last week when she'd called me crying about her rent, how I ignored the way she avoided eye contact when I told her the bank finally approved my mortgage. Maybe I did see it. I just didn't want to believe my own sister was capable of something like this. Family betrayal hits different. It doesn't come swinging at you. It slips quietly through the cracks of trust you never thought could break. Eventually, I drove home, though home felt like a lie now. My apartment lease was up at the end of the month. I'd already told my landlord I wouldn't be renewing. The boxes were stacked everywhere, taped and labeled. The living room looked like the inside of a moving truck, half empty and echoing. I'd been so proud of myself, packing slowly over the last few weeks, humming to old Anita Baker songs as I wrapped dishes and folded curtains. Now I just stood in the doorway staring at it all, feeling like every box was mocking me. Plans, expectations, dreams, all squeezed tight and sealed with tape, waiting for a future that had been snatched from my hands. My phone rang, jolting me. Mama's name lit up the screen. My stomach twisted. Denise must have told her. Of course she had. I hesitated before answering. Hello? Yvonne, why are you over there yelling at your sister like you lost your mind? I closed my eyes. Did she tell you what she did? She told me you're upset and you need to calm yourself before you say something you can't take back. That girl ain't been doing well. My jaw tightened. Mama, she stole my money. Mama huffed. Now don't start exaggerating. $58,000, every penny from my mortgage account. Silence, a kind of stretched too long. When Mama finally spoke, her voice wasn't shocked. It was tired. Yvonne, you know your sister been struggling. I felt the ground shift under me. Mama, that's not struggling. That's a felony. She needed help. I needed that money. My voice cracked. I was supposed to close on my house in a week. Mama sighed like I was being dramatic. She's your sister. Family helps family. My eyes burned. What about helping me? Another long silence. This one hurt more. You're stronger than she is. You'll be all right. That sentence punched a hole straight through my chest. That's what it always came down to. Denise gets grace. Denise gets excuses. Denise gets rescued. I get responsibility. I get expectations. I get told to be strong. And strength felt real bitter right then. I'm not calling to argue, Mama continued. I just want you to let this go before you tear this family apart. I almost dropped the phone. Let it go? Money comes and goes. That's my house, Mama. But she'd already switched into that tone she used whenever she was done listening. You girls work it out. I gotta go. She hung up. I stood there staring at the wall like it had answers. But the only thing it reflected back was the truth. I was on my own. I sank onto one of the moving boxes and let myself cry. Really cry. Until my chest hurt and my throat burned. I wasn't just crying about the money. I was crying about every moment over the last 46 years when I'd put myself second. Every time I'd been expected to be the strong one, every time I'd been told to understand Denise's bad decisions while mine were held against me. But when the tears finally slowed, something strange happened. Underneath the pain, Beneath the betrayal, a small, hard ember of determination started glowing. I didn't know where I was going to live. I didn't know what the bank would say. I didn't know what came next. But I knew one thing. I wasn't going down quietly. By late evening, I forced myself onto my feet and called the bank's fraud department. The woman on the line had a soft voice, and for the first time all day, someone actually sounded like they cared. "Do you know the person who transferred the funds?" she asked gently. "Yes," I whispered. "My sister. I'm very sorry. Family fraud cases are more complicated, but we'll do everything we can." Complicated was an understatement. Once she explained the process, my hope deflated again. Because Denise had been an authorized user on the account 5 years ago when she needed proof of residency to get a job. I'd never removed her. I'd forgotten. And now the bank said it might be considered a permitted withdrawal. My throat tightened. So she gets away with it? I can't say that yet, but it will be difficult. Difficult, another word that felt like a punch. But what hurt worse was that Denise knew exactly what she was doing. She knew she had access. She knew I trusted her. She planned this. I ended the call and walked into my bedroom, where the last box sat open on the bed, my pile of important papers inside. I stared at my mortgage approval letter, the one I'd taken a picture with just 2 weeks ago, smiling like a fool. My phone buzzed. A text from Denise. Just 5 words. "Please don't ruin my life." My breath shook. My thumbs trembled over the screen. But before I could respond, 3 hard knocks rattled my front door. I froze. It was almost 10 p.m. Nobody visited me at this hour. The knocks came again, louder, more urgent, and a cold dread crept up my spine as I realized whoever was on the other side of that door wasn't coming to help me. They were looking for Denise. For a moment, I couldn't move. The knocks were so heavy, they rattled the picture frames on the wall. My heart jumped into my throat, beating so fast I could barely breathe. A chill ran through me as the knocking grew even louder, more impatient, like whomever was out there already knew I was standing frozen just a few feet away. I tiptoed toward the living room window and pulled the curtain back just a sliver. A black SUV idled outside, engine humming, headlights off. 2 silhouettes stood on my porch. Big men, wide shoulders, one tapping his foot like he wasn't in the mood to wait much longer. The porch light cast just enough glow for me to see the tattoos creeping up the side of one man's neck. My stomach twisted. These weren't delivery guys. They weren't neighbors. They weren't anybody I wanted near my front door. They were the people Denise owed money to, the ones she used my savings to pay, or tried to. And now they were here, at my house, for her. I stepped back from the window and clasped my hands over my mouth to keep from gasping. Another round of pounding echoed through the apartment, so hard that my door chain clinked against the frame. One of the men shouted, "Open up! We know somebody's in there!" My knees almost buckled. I backed into the hallway, heart pounding loud enough I swore they could hear it. I grabbed my phone with shaking hands and turned the ringer off. If Denise called again tonight, I couldn't risk a vibration giving me away. The men knocked again. This time, 3 slow, deliberate bangs, the kind that said they had all night. I moved quietly to the kitchen, turned off every light, and flattened myself behind the counter. I didn't know what these men wanted from her, but I knew one thing. They weren't here for a polite conversation. I held my breath as I listened to muffled voices outside. "She's supposed to be here." "She better be. She's out of time." I squeezed my eyes shut. My own sister had brought this to my doorstep. On the same day she'd wiped out my future? I couldn't tell which betrayal hurt worse, stealing my money or dragging danger into my home without a second thought. After a minute or two, one of the men banged again. "Yo, Denise, quit playing. You think we won't come back?" My blood ran cold. Denise gave them my address. I covered my mouth again as tears burned my eyes. I knew she was reckless, but this was a new level. This wasn't irresponsibility. This was life-threatening. Finally, footsteps thudded away from my door. I waited, barely breathing. The SUV door slammed, the engine revved, and the car pulled off slowly. No rush, no worry, like they knew they could return any time. I stayed crouched behind the counter long after they were gone. When I finally stood, my legs were trembling so badly I had to grip the counter to keep from falling. I grabbed my purse, my shoes by the door, and the one box of papers I kept close, and I left the apartment. I didn't turn lights on. I didn't look back. I just got in my car and drove until the shaking in my hands slowed enough to steer. I ended up in the parking lot of a 24-hour grocery store. Bright lights, people moving around, somewhere public enough that I felt like nothing could happen to me. I sat in my car, door locked, staring at the dark sky above the fluorescent lights. My phone buzzed. Another text from Denise. Yvonne, please answer. They might come by. My jaw dropped open. Might, I typed back. You gave them my address? The dots appeared, then disappeared, then appeared again. Finally, I panicked. I told them I was helping you. I didn't think they'd actually go there. My hands balled into fists. I called her. This time she answered immediately. Yvonne, are you out of your mind? I screamed. Those men came to my door tonight. I'm sorry. I didn't know what else to do. I was scared. And you weren't scared for me? Silence. You took my money, I said, voice shaking with controlled rage. You destroyed my mortgage, and then you sent dangerous men to my home. I didn't send? Yes, you did, I screamed. My scream cracked, and I had to swallow hard before I could speak again. What do they want, Denise? She sniffled. 30,000. My breath froze. 30? I don't even have that anymore. You took all I had. She sobbed so loudly in the phone, I had to hold it away from my ear. I thought if I paid them something, they'd leave me alone. I didn't think they want the rest so fast. I leaned my head back on the car seat, gripping the steering wheel with my free hand until it hurt. Where are you now, Denise? At a friend's apartment. I'm hiding. Hiding? I repeated, my voice dangerously low. So you gave them my address and you went into hiding? I didn't know what else to do. Her repeated excuses made something inside me finally snap. A clean break, like a bone that had been cracked too many times and finally gave out. Denise, I said quietly, you need to listen to me carefully. She sniffled. Okay, I am done saving you. Yvonne, no, listen. My voice steadied with a cold clarity. If those men show up again, I'm calling the police. If you come near my home again, I'm calling the police. If you text me asking for money, I'm blocking your number. You'd really do that to me? She whispered. You already did it to me first. The silence on the other end felt like an ending, a painful one, but a necessary one. I don't know what's going to happen next for you, but you're not dragging me down with you. Yvonne, she whispered, but I couldn't do it anymore. Not again, not anymore. I hung up. The parking lot felt colder than before, lonelier. I stared out at the people walking in and out of the store, laughing, holding bags, living normal lives, and I wondered what it felt like not to have your entire world fall apart in one day. I looked at the backseat of my car, boxes, a blanket, my pillow, and I realized something. This might be my home for a while. I leaned forward, resting my forehead on the steering wheel, letting the tears fall silently this time. And then, just as I wiped my face, my phone lit up again. But this message wasn't from Denise. It was from my landlord. Yvonne, we have a problem. Call me as soon as possible. I stared at my landlord's text like it was written in another language. My nerves were already frayed, but something about those 5 words, "we have a problem," made my skin prickle. What else could possibly go wrong tonight? What more was left to lose? My fingers felt stiff as I dialed his number. The call connected on the second ring. Yvonne? He said immediately, his tone clipped, tense, nothing like his usual warm, professional voice. Thank you for calling back. We need to talk. I swallowed hard. What's going on? He inhaled sharply. Are you aware that 2 men came to the building tonight looking for you? My heart dropped. They came back? Back? He repeated. They were here earlier too? I closed my eyes. Yes. He exhaled, a frustrated, weary sound. Well, they were here again. They were loud, aggressive, and they scared half the tenants. Mrs. Latham from 2B was crying. She thought they were breaking in. Guilt crashed over me, even though none of this was my doing. I'm so sorry. I know you've been a good tenant for the past 3 years, he cut in. Always paid on time, never caused issues. But this is different. A cold fear curled in my stomach. What are you saying? He cleared his throat. I had to file a report with the building management. They want the situation resolved immediately. These men cannot return. It's a liability issue. And since you said this isn't the first time, I didn't tell them to come. I didn't even know who they were until tonight. I believe you, he replied gently, but the building doesn't want trouble. There's pressure to ensure safety for everyone. Another pause. My breath caught. Yvonne, I'm gonna have to move up your move-out date. My chest tightened. Move up? I already told you I'd be out by the end of the month. It's only the 17th. I know. But after tonight, the association wants you out by the end of the week. A dull buzzing filled my ears. The end of the week? That's 5 days. I'm truly sorry, but after those men caused a scene, I don't have a choice. I'll waive your last utilities and I'll return the rest of your deposit. I wish there was more I could do. A hollow ache spread from the center of my chest outward. Everything was unraveling faster than I could catch it. I understand, I whispered. I didn't, but I couldn't fight him. Not tonight. Not in this parking lot where the fluorescent lights made everything feel harsher and the air felt a little too heavy. If you need references for a new place, I'll write you one, he offered softly. You've always been one of the good ones. I nodded, even though he couldn't see me. Thank you. We hung up and I let the phone fall into the passenger seat. My lungs felt tight like the air had teeth. 5 days. No mortgage, no savings, and now no home. I pressed the heels of my hands into my eyes as tears started again, hot and insistent. For a moment I fought them, but then I let them come. I let the grief pour out until my chest ached and my throat felt raw. I had lost everything in less than 24 hours. Eventually, the sobs softened into a dull ache, like the emotional version of a bruise. Not as sharp as before, but still tender, still painful. I sucked in a shaky breath and wiped my face. I pulled my blanket into my lap, wrapping it around my shoulders as if it could protect me from all the things I couldn't control. My reflection in the rearview mirror looked nothing like the woman who woke up that morning, hopeful, excited, ready to begin a new chapter. Now, I looked like someone living in the wreckage of a life they didn't recognize. I reached into the back seat, grabbed my notebook, my everything book, where I kept budgets, to-do lists, dreams, goals, and flipped to a blank page. My hands trembled, but I forced myself to write. Step 1, survive tonight. I stared at the words until they stopped blurring. I thought about calling Mama. I thought about telling her everything, begging her to take me in just for a few nights. But when I pictured the conversation, the lectures, the guilt, the way she'd twist this all into being my fault, I closed the notebook again. I couldn't do that to myself. Not tonight. Instead, I stepped out of the car and walked into the grocery store. I needed something warm, something small to remind myself I still existed. I bought a cup of coffee and a pack of tissues. The cashier, a young woman with braids piled into a bun, scanned my things and gave me a soft smile. You okay? She asked gently. I nodded, though my eyes were still swollen. Rough night. She handed me the receipt. Well, whatever it is, you'll get through it. You just look like someone who does. I don't know why, but that tiny piece of kindness made my throat close. I managed a small smile and whispered, "Thank you." When I returned to my car, I sipped the coffee slowly, letting the warmth spread through me. It wasn't enough, but it helped. I pulled out my phone and opened my email. I needed to tell the bank that I wasn't moving forward with the mortgage. I needed to figure out storage for my things. I needed to find somewhere safe for the next few nights. As I typed, another notification popped up. A message from someone I hadn't heard from in almost a year. Marcus Sullivan, my ex. A lump formed in my throat. Of all people, of all nights, why him? His message was short. Hey, I heard something happen with your sister. Are you okay? Call me when you can. I stared at the screen. How did he know? How did news of my disaster travel faster than I could pick up the pieces? I didn't know whether to call him or block him. But before I could decide, a shadow moved across the parking lot in my peripheral vision. Slow, deliberate, coming straight toward my car. Someone was walking straight toward me, and they weren't hurrying. They weren't hesitating. They looked like they knew exactly who they were approaching. The figure moved steadily toward my car, their steps unhurried but intentional, like they were approaching a meeting, not a stranger. My breath caught. My hand hovered over the lock button, even though the doors were already secured. Every instinct in me tensed. As the man stepped under one of the parking lot lights, I recognized the shape of his shoulders first, broad, familiar. Then the walk, steady, measured, with a slight tilt to the left. My breath hitched. Marcus. I let my head fall back against the seat in a mix of relief and irritation. Of all the nights for him to appear, it had to be the one where my life was falling apart at the seams. He stopped just outside my window and tapped lightly, like he knew I needed the choice to open the door myself. I rolled it down only halfway. "What are you doing here?" I asked, my voice softer than I meant it to be. Exhaustion had stripped away my usual fire. He crouched down so we were eye level. He looked older than he did a year ago. More lines at the corners of his eyes, a little more gray in his beard, but still handsome in that way that used to make my stomach flip. His gaze searched my face. "Yvonne," he said quietly, "you look like you've been through hell." I let out a humorless laugh. "Because I have." We stared at each other for a long moment, the hum of the parking lot filling the silence between us. He glanced around. "Why are you sitting out here at 11 at night with your whole life in your back seat?" That question cracked something in me, not because it was judgmental, but because it was drenched in concern. Real concern, the kind I hadn't heard all day. I swallowed. "How did you know about Denise?" He sighed and stood up, walking around to the passenger side. He tapped the window again. "Unlock the door, please." I hesitated, but unlocked it. He slid into the seat, closing the door gently. His presence filled the small space immediately. It felt too intimate, too close, but I didn't have the strength to push him away. "He talked to your cousin Tamara earlier. She told me some men were looking for Denise, and she said you might be in danger." A fresh wave of fear washed over me. "They came to my apartment twice." His expression hardened, jaw clenched. "Are you serious?" "Yes." "Did they threaten you?" "They didn't see me," I said. "Thank God." He ran a hand over his face. "I'm gonna kill her." I shook my head. "Get in line." We looked at each other again, and for a moment I saw the man I used to love, the one who'd cook for me on Sundays, who'd rub my shoulders when I worked late, who'd told me once, "You don't always have to be strong, baby. You can lean on me sometimes." But leaning was dangerous. Leaning was how I got hurt. Marcus exhaled deeply. "All right, start from the beginning. Tell me everything." So I did. I told him about the notifications, the empty account, the confrontation, Mama's cold response, the bank, the men, the forced move out, Denise's panic texts, the fear, the hopelessness settling in my bones. By the time I finished, his hands were gripping his knees, knuckles white. "That's unbelievable," he whispered. "I knew Denise could be messy, but this? I don't know who she is anymore." He looked at me with something like sorrow. "You deserved better than this. You've always deserved better." I looked away, my throat tight. "It doesn't matter. This is where I am now." "That doesn't mean you have to stay here," he said quietly. My brow furrowed. "What are you talking about?" "You're not sleeping in this parking lot. I'll sleep somewhere safe." "And what, do that every night?" he challenged. "Yvonne, come on." I opened my mouth to argue, but he raised a hand. "I'm gonna stay at my place tonight. Guest room. Door locked if you want. I'm not letting you sit out here alone." My heart knocked painfully against my ribs. "Marcus, this isn't about us," he said softly. "I'm not trying to rewind anything. I'm trying to make sure you don't spend the night terrified in a grocery store parking lot." I stared out the windshield. The neon lights flickered against my hood. A couple laughed as they loaded bags into their trunk. A man in a hoodie pushed a cart past us. Life was walking on casually while mine was on fire. "I don't want to be a burden," I whispered. "You've never been a burden. Not once." I swallowed hard. "I don't know." "Yvonne, let someone help you." That sentence hit me harder than anything else tonight. Let someone help you. It felt like a foreign language, like something I had no practice in. I finally nodded, slowly. "Just for tonight." He gave a soft exhale of relief. "All right, good. We can figure the rest out tomorrow." He paused. "Can I drive?" "You look like you're about to pass out." "I can manage." "No, you don't need to manage everything tonight." And before I could protest, he was already getting out, walking around to my side of the car. I unlocked the door and moved to the passenger seat. Marcus slid in behind the wheel, adjusting the seat back just a bit. The familiarity of him sitting there startled me. Muscle memory tugged at old feelings I wasn't ready to examine. He started the car and pulled out of the parking lot with steady confidence. The road stretched in front of us, empty and quiet. I closed my eyes for a moment, just a moment. But when I opened them again, Marcus's face had changed. His jaw was tight, his brow furrowed, his eyes fixed on the rearview mirror. "What?" I whispered. He didn't answer first. Then he said it, low and tense. "Yvonne, that black SUV behind us?" My heart stopped. "I think it's following us." For a few seconds, I couldn't move, couldn't breathe. The words hung between us like a fog. "I think it's following us." Marcus's hands tightened on the steering wheel. His jaw locked. He wasn't a man who spooked easily, so the fear in his voice shot straight through me. I forced myself to look into the side mirror. The black SUV was there, 2 car lengths behind, headlights low, no turn signals, no attempt to pass, just trailing us. My pulse hammered so hard I thought it might crack my ribs. "Are you sure?" I whispered. "Yes," he said quietly. "It's been behind us since we left the parking lot. Every turn, every lane change." My stomach nodded. "It could be nothing." "I hope so, but I'm not betting your life on hope." We drove another block. The SUV stayed with us. Its lights reflected off the rear window, bright and cold. Marcus took a slow breath. "Okay. We're not going home yet." "What do you mean?" My voice shook. "We need to see if this is coincidence or intention." He flicked his eyes toward the mirror again. "I'm going to make 3 turns. Nobody makes 3 pointless turns unless they're following someone." My chest tightened. "Marcus, it's all right," he murmured. "I got you." He said it with a certainty I didn't feel, but part of me clung to it anyway. He turned right at the next light. The SUV turned right too. My heart dropped. We drove half a block. Marcus turned right again onto a narrow side street. The SUV followed. "Okay," he muttered, his voice low and grim. "That's 2. My hands were slick with sweat. I kept twisting my fingers together just to anchor myself. The street was dim, lined with small houses and patchy yards. A single porch light flickered halfway down. Everything felt too quiet. Marcus rolled slowly toward the next intersection. "Hold on," he said. He turned right again. The 3rd right. The SUV made the turn too. No hesitation, no slowdown, just following. Marcus cursed under his breath. "All right, that's enough." Fear crawled up my throat like a hand closing around it. "What do we do?" "We don't go to my place. That's off the table now. I'm not leading anybody to my home, and I'm definitely not letting them know where you'll be sleeping." A chill rippled across my skin. "Are these the same men who came to the apartment?" He might be. Or they might be somebody new. Either way, we're not taking chances. I swallowed hard. "Should we call 911? I will if I have to. But first, I want to get to a public place, someplace well lit with cameras." He accelerated slightly, checking the mirror every few seconds. The SUV stayed behind us. Not speeding, not slowing, just matching. "Marcus, I'm scared." He reached over and squeezed my hand, firm, grounding. "I know. But you're not alone." His voice steadied me in a way nothing else could have. We reached another intersection, a major one. Marcus flicked on the signal and turned left into a busy shopping area, the kind with 24-hour stores and gas stations glowing like islands in the dark. People were around. Cars, noise, light. And the SUV? It followed. Brazen. Marcus's jaw flexed. "Okay, they want us to know they're there." My stomach turned to ice. "What do they want? To scare you? Or to see where you go next? Or..." He cut himself off. I didn't need to hear the 3rd option. We reached a huge gas station at the corner. Bright, bustling, cameras on every pump. Marcus pulled in slowly. "Don't get out. Not unless I tell you." I nodded, throat tight. He parked near the front, close to the store windows. A couple walked past us, laughing. The world felt normal here. Safe-ish. Marcus kept the car running. The SUV rolled into the lot too. It didn't pull up to a pump. It didn't park. It just idled along the outer edge of the lot, still lights on, slow, like a predator circling. Marcus leaned forward, eyes sharp. "We're not dealing with amateurs." The windows were too dark to see inside. I felt cold all over. "Marcus, what do we do now?" He didn't blink. "We wait and we watch. And if they try anything, we make noise. Cameras, people, this is the safest place they can follow us into." A beat of silence stretched. Then Marcus added, "But they're not giving up. That tells me one thing." I turned to him, voice barely audible. "What?" "They know who you are, and they want something from you." My breath caught. And before I could speak, my phone lit up. A new text from an unknown number. "Stop running." The moment I saw those 2 words on my phone screen, "Stop running," the air inside the car felt thinner, tighter, like the whole world pressed in around me. My fingers trembled so hard I almost dropped the phone. Marcus leaned closer, eyes narrowing. "Let me see." I showed him the screen, my breath stuttering in my chest. He exhaled slowly, tension tightening the corners of his mouth. "They're not guessing. They know exactly who they're talking to." My voice cracked. "Marcus, how? I didn't call anyone. I didn't text anyone. He put a hand on my arm, grounding me. "It's not your fault. If they knew where you live, they probably have more than one way to track you." The SUV remained parked across the lot, headlights steady, too steady, like it was staring us down. The windows were still pitch black, not a single silhouette, not a hint of a face. "What do they want?" I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. Marcus rubbed his jaw. "Depends. Could be the people who broke in earlier trying to intimidate you. Could be somebody your sister owes money to." The thought made my stomach twist. Lord, what did Tasha drag me into? "That's what we need to figure out," he said. A cart pulled into the pump next to us. A man in a work vest stepping out, humming to himself. A normal moment. A safe moment, but it didn't reach me, not with that SUV watching. Marcus glanced around. "All right, here's what we're going to do. You stay right here. I'm going inside to talk to the clerk, see if he saw anything. Maybe the SUV was here before us." My heart jumped. No, Marcus. Don't leave me in this car with... "He won't be gone long. Less than a minute. You'll be able to see me the whole time." I swallowed the panic rising in my throat. "Okay, just... hurry." "I will." He stepped out, closing the door quietly, like he was trying to not draw attention. His back was straight, his stride steady, but I saw the tension in his shoulders. I watched him the entire way to the store entrance. It was only 20 feet, but it felt like a mile. Every step he took, I glanced at the SUV, half expecting the doors to fly open. They didn't. The SUV didn't move, didn't flicker, just stared. I forced myself to breathe, holding the phone in my lap like a lifeline. I kept glancing down, hoping the message would disappear or turn out to be a glitch, but it sat there, bold and sharp. "Stop running." My chest tightened. Running from what? From who? I didn't even know what I was involved in, let alone what I was running from. A tap on my window made me jump so hard I yelped. It was a woman. A middle-aged lady in a purple scrub top. Her expression apologetic. "Oh, honey, I didn't mean to scare you," she said through the glass, holding a gas receipt. "You dropped this when you opened your door earlier." I blinked, confused. I didn't drop anything." She frowned and looked down. "Oh, well, somebody did." "Never mind then." She walked away. My heart thudded wildly. I hadn't opened my door at all. Neither had Marcus. And the receipt? It wasn't crumpled or oily. It looked freshly placed. Every hair on my arm stood straight up. Marcus walked out of the store just as the woman pulled out of the lot. He jogged back to the car, opened the driver's door, and slid in. "You okay?" he asked quickly. I tried to speak, but the words caught in my throat. I held up the receipt. He frowned. "Where'd that come from?" "A woman said I dropped it, but I didn't." Marcus snatched it gently from my hand, unfolding it. His jaw tightened. "This isn't a receipt." I leaned closer. On the back, written in thick black marker, "We need to talk. Don't let him decide for you." My blood ran cold. "Marcus, what does that mean?" He didn't answer, or maybe he didn't want to. Before I could push, he started the engine. "I know a place we can go. Neutral ground, cameras, witnesses. Somewhere they can't follow without exposing themselves." I clutched my purse. "Where?" "The police station." A breath punched out of me. "Marcus, not to file a report," he said quickly. "Not yet. Just to sit in the lot. To see what they do. If they follow us there, that tells us everything." I nodded weakly, even though nothing about this felt safe. He shifted the car into gear, and that's when the SUV moved. Not toward us, but toward the exit. It rolled slowly, deliberately, like it wanted us to know the game wasn't over. Then it paused at the driveway, and the passenger window slid down. Only a crack, but enough for me to see a single hand slip something out, a small, flat object, and drop it on the concrete. Then the window went up. The SUV pulled onto the street and drove away. Marcus muttered, "Stay here." And before I could stop him, he stepped out and jogged toward the object lying on the ground. He bent down, picked it up, turned it over, and froze. "What is it?" I called from the car, but he didn't answer. He stood there, staring at whatever it was, his shoulders going rigid. Then he walked back, got in the car without a word, and placed it on my lap. A photograph of me, taken earlier today, standing outside the bank, my stomach bottomed out. "Marcus," I whispered, my voice breaking. What does this mean?" His face was grim, his voice low. "It means they've been watching you for a lot longer than we thought." And before I could respond, before I could breathe, my phone buzzed again. A new message. This time, 5 words. "We're not after your sister." I didn't even open the message at first. I just stared at the preview on my lock screen. Those 5 words punching a hole straight through my chest. "We're not after your sister." For a moment, everything inside me went still, like my fear frozen to something sharp and cold. Up until that second, as terrifying as this situation was, my brain had wrapped itself around one assumption. This was somehow connected to Tasha. Somehow, some way, her mess had spilled onto me. But if they weren't after her, then who? No. Why me? Marcus cursed under his breath. "All right, that's it. We're going to the police station now." But something in me snapped. Not anger, clarity. A strange, trembling clarity that rose up like a tide. "No," I said quietly. Marcus looked at me like he didn't hear right. "What?" I said, "No." He blinked, caught off guard. "Baby, with everything going on, I need to see the message." My voice shook, but there was steel beneath it. "Please." He hesitated, jaw clenched. "I don't want you panicking." "I'm already panicking. I deserve to know what they're saying to me." He watched me for a long second, then nodded once, reluctantly. I turned the phone over in my hands and tapped the notification. The full message appeared. "We're not after your sister. We're after what she owes, and she gave us your name instead." My breath left my lungs in a broken gasp. The words blurred as tears pricked my eyes, but the meaning was unmistakable. This wasn't about some random break-in. This wasn't some accident. This wasn't coincidence. Tasha had given them me. Marcus took one look at my face and knew. What did it say? I passed him the phone with shaking hands. He skimmed the message, his jaw locking so hard I could see the muscle twitch. "I'm gonna kill her. Your sister is out of her damn mind." My stomach churned. She used my name? Why? Why would she do that? Because people like Tasha don't think consequences apply to them. They think someone else will pick up the fallout. But why me? I don't owe anybody anything. "Because you're responsible," Marcus said softly. "Because you're steady. Because you're the one everyone expects to fix her messes." His voice cracked just a little, as if he hated having to say it out loud. I pressed my palms to my eyes, fighting the wave of betrayal crashing over me. "I can't believe she did this. I can't." Marcus reached over, cupping the back of my neck gently. "Listen to me. Whatever this is, we're gonna get through it. But I need you to stay with me. Don't shut down." I took a shaky breath. "I'm not shutting down. I'm trying to understand." He squeezed my shoulder. "Good, because we need to make smart moves." I looked out the window, toward the empty spot where the SUV had been. That space felt haunted now. "Marcus," I whispered, "why leave a picture of me? Why follow us? Why?" He exhaled sharply. "Intimidation. They're trying to scare you into contacting them." A shiver crawled down my spine. "But why not confront me face to face?" "Because people this bold don't want a scene. They want control." I swallowed. "You sound like you've dealt with this kind of thing before." His eyes flicked away. "Just for a second. I've seen some things, worked with some people. That's all." He shook it off. "Doesn't matter now. What matters is protecting you." Before I could respond, my phone buzzed again. I flinched so hard Marcus grabbed my hand. "Let me see it first," he said. But I shook my head. "No, it's to me." He relented, but his eyes stayed glued to my phone as I lifted it. Another message. "Check your email." I inhaled sharply. "Email? They have my email?" Marcus's face hardened. "Don't open it here. We need a controlled place, somewhere safe." I nodded. He merged out of the gas station and pulled into the street. Traffic was light, but every pair of headlights behind us made my shoulders tense. I kept expecting the SUV to reappear. Every time Marcus checked the rear view, I saw uncertainty in his eyes, even though he pretended otherwise. After a few blocks, he said, "We'll go to the police station first. Sit in the lot, then you open the email on my laptop, not your phone. If it has malware, I can contain it." "You really have experience with this," I murmured. Marcus didn't answer. Instead, he pulled into the brightly lit police station parking lot. Cameras in every corner. Patrol cars out front. A couple of officers walking inside. It was the safest I'd felt in hours, but also the most exposed. I pulled out my phone again, staring at the message urging me toward God knows what. "I'm scared to open it," I whispered. "I know, but we need to know what they want." He pulled his laptop from under his seat, opened it, and nodded. "Go ahead. Check your email." I opened the Gmail app, my hands trembling. One new message sat at the top of my inbox. No sender name. Just an email address I didn't recognize. The subject line made my heart drop straight to my feet. "This is what she didn't tell you." Marcus leaned in. "Open it." I tapped the message. Inside was a single attachment, a video file. Nothing else, just a clip named watchmenow.mp4. My mouth dried. "Marcus," he was not blinking. "Play it." I clicked the file. It loaded. At first, all I saw was darkness, then a voice. Low, distorted, filled the speakers. "Your sister wasn't honest with you." My skin prickled. The screen brightened, and suddenly Tasha appeared. My sister, sitting in some gray room, eyes red, makeup smudged, hair a mess. She looked scared, terrified. Her hands were shaking as she spoke. "Please, please don't tell her. I can't let her know that I..." The video froze for a second, glitching, then resumed. "Just give me more time, please. She doesn't have anything to do with this. It's all me, I swear." My heart slammed against my ribs so hard I felt dizzy. A man's voice, off camera, calm, icy, said, "No more time. You gave us her name, her address, her job. You involved her." Tasha burst into tears. "I didn't have a choice." She looked straight at the camera, straight at me. "I'm sorry, sis. I'm so sorry." The video cut out. The screen went black. I sat frozen, my breath shaking, my stomach twisting into something tight and painful. Marcus whispered, "Oh my God!" And then my phone buzzed one more time. A new message popped up instantly. "Now you understand why we need you." For a long moment, I couldn't breathe. My lungs locked up, my mind locked up. Everything in me froze so hard, it felt like my soul stepped outside my body just to avoid what I'd seen. Tasha looked terrified in that video, not angry, not reckless, just broken. But the part that gutted me wasn't her tears. It was the moment she said, "You gave us her name." The way the man corrected her, calm, cruel, like he'd been waiting for her to break. The way she'd look straight at the camera, straight at me, like she knew I'd eventually see it. Marcus closed the laptop slowly, like he was afraid the video might jump back to life. "That's not good," he muttered. I nodded, my throat too tight for words. "Not good" didn't begin to cover it. "I don't understand," I whispered. "Why me? Why did she give them me?" Marcus turned in his seat to face me. "Because she panicked. Because she's selfish, because she wanted time she couldn't buy. People make stupid choices when they're desperate." I shook my head. "She didn't even warn me. She didn't call, didn't text, nothing." "She couldn't," he said. "They probably told her not to." That thought punched a hole right through my chest. I'm her sister, Marcus. I'm the one who bailed her out of every mess she ever made. I'm the one she cried to. I'm the one she used, he said softly but firmly. "And now you're paying the price." The words hit me hard. Too hard. I leaned back, pressing my palms into my eyes, willing myself not to scream or break into pieces. Marcus rested his hand on my knee, warm, steady. "We'll figure this out." I shook my head. "You don't know that. You don't even know what they want." He paused. "I know what they don't want. They don't want Tasha." The message said it plain. "We're not after your sister." "So what's special about me? What could I possibly have that they want?" Marcus hesitated, just long enough for my stomach to drop. "Marcus," I whispered, "tell me." "It could be anything. Your identity, your accounts, your signature, blackmail, leverage, something she promised them. My heart sank deeper with each possibility. But whatever it is, he continued, they think you can give it. I let my hands fall to my lap. I felt suddenly hollow, like someone scooped out everything inside me and left nothing but dread. My phone buzzed again. Marcus flinched. Don't open it yet. But I was done being afraid of shadows. I was afraid of the truth now. And that was worse. I tapped the screen. A new message, short and sharp. We can meet tonight. Marcus swore softly. They're pushing. Another message followed instantly. You have something that belongs to us. My stomach twisted. I don't know what they're talking about. That's the point. If you don't know, they have the power. A third message. And you're going to hand it over. Marcus reached for my phone like he wanted to throw it across the parking lot. We're blocking this number. No, I said sharply. He froze. Shocked. What? Why not? Because they'll just find another way. Another number, another message. Blocking them won't stop anything. He stared at me, disbelief in his eyes. You're not considering meeting these people. No! The word came out high and shaky. I'm not stupid. I'm not trying to die tonight. Then what are you saying? I looked at the dark sky beyond the windshield, the halo of streetlights casting pale circles over the hood. I think, I said, they're expecting me to be weak, to hide, to panic, to do exactly what they say. And you're not like that, Marcus said, almost proud. You never have been. I can't outfight them, I can't outrun them, but I can outthink them. He tilted his head. Talk to me, I said. When bullies want control, you don't give them fear. You give them confusion. Marcus's eyes sharpened. You want to stall. I want to figure out why me before I make any move. Marcus drummed his fingers on the steering wheel. Okay, I'm listening. I want to ask for details. Ask what they think I have. Make them explain. Make them slip. That's dangerous. So is everything else, I whispered. Marcus let out a slow breath. All right, but you're not doing it alone. I nodded. I wasn't planning to. Another message appeared on my screen. Do not involve anyone else. Marcus barked out a humorless laugh. Well, that answers that. They're watching, I whispered. Even right now. Marcus scanned the lot. If they're nearby, they're not showing themselves. I watched the street, the shadows, every passing car. Nothing looked familiar. Nothing looked suspicious. Nothing looked safe either. I typed slowly, hands trembling. What do you think I have? Marcus read my message over my shoulder and nodded. Good. Push for specifics. We waited. 5 seconds, 20 seconds, a full minute. No reply. Then finally, your sister gave us access. I frowned. Access to what? The response came instantly. To your future. A chill ran down my spine. Marcus, what does that mean? Before he could answer, another message appeared, dropping like a stone in my lap. Check your credit. I hesitated, but Marcus said, do it now. I opened my banking app, then my credit monitoring app. The moment the screen loaded, my vision blurred. Oh my God, I whispered. Marcus, what? What happened? My identity. I swallowed hard, bio rising in my throat. My accounts, everything was there. New accounts, new loans, thousands in debt under my name. My life, I choked. Marcus, my whole life. He grabbed my wrist gently. Look at me. Stay with me. Stay calm. But how could I? My sister hadn't just given them my name. She'd given them my entire financial identity. Marcus looked at the screen and his voice dropped into a dangerous, determined growl. We're dealing with professionals, identity thieves, debt runners, people who make money ruining lives. Tears blurred my vision. Why me? He squeezed my hand hard enough to hold me together. Because they think you're breakable. But they're about to find out exactly who they're dealing with. Before I could answer, a new message lit up on my screen. You have 1 hour to reply or we move forward with the rest. My heart stopped. The rest? I whispered. Marcus's face went pale. Baby, that could mean anything. And then my phone buzzed again. One final message. Starting with your job. For a moment, all I could hear was the hum of the car engine and my own heartbeat thundering in my ears. The bank? I repeated. barely understanding the word as it left my mouth. Marcus nodded slowly, watching me with a mix of concern and calculation. Yeah, whoever is after you isn't just interested in scaring you or tracking you. They're after something concrete, and I think it's tied to your account. My account is empty, I whispered. She drained it. What else could they possibly want? He shook his head. You said your sister drained one account. You had only one? I nodded. It was the savings account I was building for the mortgage. That's the one she had the login for. And you're absolutely sure, he said carefully, that there weren't any other accounts open in your name? Ever? That question made something shift uncomfortably in my chest, like someone pulling a loose thread I'd been ignoring for years. I don't think so. He heard the doubt in my voice instantly. Tell me. I stared down at my hands. When I was younger, 20s maybe, my parents helped me open a couple of accounts. One was for emergency savings, but I closed it. At least, I thought I did. Marcus leaned in slightly. You thought you did? I swallowed hard. I never checked again. It had barely anything in it then. I figured the bank closed it after inactivity. Marcus let out a slow exhale. Banks don't close accounts that easily, and they definitely don't lose them. A heavy pause settled between us. His next words landed with a thud. What if your sister found an old account in your name, one you didn't know was still open, one she could access with enough personal info? My mind reeled, but something didn't fit. If she accessed it, then how? Then why would someone else be following you? Exactly. The SUV was still idling across the gas station lot, unmoving, watching, a shadow with headlights. A cold dread crawled up my spine. Marcus lowered his voice. I think we're dealing with two different things. Your sister's theft and something else your name is attached to. My mouth went dry. Like what? He hesitated, then said, fraud. Loans, accounts, maybe even assets. People who use other people's identities sometimes spread the damage across multiple banks. A wave of nausea hit me. But why would they come after me? I whispered. Marcus's answer was simple and terrifying. Because whoever set this up needs you to not talk. Not report it, not undo it. My breath trembled. He continued, eyes still scanning the parking lot. When we get to the bank tomorrow, we're checking everything. All accounts, all activity, every institution tied to your name. If there's something hidden, we'll find it. The SUV's engine revved lightly, like an animal shifting its weight. Marcus's shoulders tensed. Okay, time to move. They know we're not going home. We're going somewhere they won't follow. Where? I asked. He put the car in drive. Somewhere with more cameras than a casino. He pulled out of the gas station, merging into traffic. The SUV hesitated for a moment, then followed. My pulse spiked again. They're still behind us. I know, he said. Steady but tight. He turned onto a wide boulevard, heading toward a section of town filled with office buildings, hotels, and all-night restaurants. Bright, crowded, impossible to approach unnoticed. But the SUV kept a steady distance. Not too close, not too far. Predatory. I gripped the door handle, trying to breathe through the panic. Suddenly, Marcus's phone buzzed. He glanced at the screen, then went still. What is it? He turned the screen toward me. A message from an unknown number. The same number that had texted me. We're not after you. We're after what she left behind. My blood ran cold. What does that mean? I whispered. Marcus looked straight ahead, jaw clenched. It means this isn't about the money she stole. Then what is it about? He exhaled, voice sharp with realization. She didn't just steal from you. She took something, and someone wants it back. I stared at him, horrified. But my sister didn't tell me anything. She would never... My voice broke. Marcus slowed at a red light. His eyes were hard, focused, almost grim. You said your sister changed after your mother died, started keeping secrets, acting strangely, pulling away. I nodded slowly. And then she shows up suddenly with access she shouldn't have had, takes everything from your account, vanishes, and now dangerous people are following you. His words hit like icy water. You think she was involved in something illegal? I whispered. He didn't blink. I think she dragged you into something without you knowing, and these people think you know where she is or what she took. The light turned green. The SUV followed again. Marcus pressed harder on the gas. We need to get ahead of this. Before they do. My phone buzzed again. Another message. Last chance. Tell us where she hid it. My heart stopped. I typed back with trembling hands. I don't know anything. She left me with nothing. 3 dots appeared. Typing. Marcus tightened his grip on the wheel. Brace yourself, he said. The message came through. Not nothing. She left you.
For a long, terrifying second, neither of us spoke. The words on my phone screen felt unreal, like some twisted joke I couldn't quite understand. Not nothing. She left you. My throat tightened. Marcus, what does that mean? He didn't answer right away. He was staring straight ahead, but I could see the muscle in his jaw pulsing, thinking, calculating, or maybe trying not to panic. Finally, he said, "It means they believe she left something with you, intentionally, something you haven't found yet." I don't have anything. My voice cracked. No bag, no box, no keys, no... Think, Marcus said. Calm but firm. Not physically. Maybe digital. Something you didn't notice. I stared at him, mind spinning. Like what? A file? A password? An account? A document? A safety deposit box? A code? Something she passed off as nothing. Even years ago. Years ago. A chill ran through me. My sister used to leave things with me all the time. A drawer in my old apartment, boxes she never picked up, emails she sent me that made no sense, a strange USB she once asked me to hold for a week and then forgot. I swallowed hard. Marcus, what if whatever she left is something I don't even know I have anymore? He nodded, grim. That's exactly what I'm thinking. You might be the loose end. A horn blared as a car passed us, jarring me back. The SUV was still behind us. Steady, relentless, watching. Marcus turned into the busier side of town. The late-night area full of neon lights and people walking sidewalks. This part of the city felt alive, normal, safe-ish. He pulled toward a large, multi-level parking structure attached to a luxury hotel. I frowned. Here? He nodded. Bright lights, security guards, cameras on every level. Nobody's going to corner us in there. The SUV didn't turn in with us. It slowed, then kept driving. My heart hammered. Are they leaving? No, Marcus said quietly. They're repositioning. He pulled into a spot on the second level under a bright camera. The moment he parked, he turned to me. We need to talk about something, and we need to do it now. He wasn't scared, but he was serious. The kind of serious that made my skin prickle. I nodded slowly. Marcus took a breath. Tell me about the last time you saw your sister. I blinked. The memory hit fast and sharp. I hadn't seen her in months. She just showed up at my door at 10 p.m. crying. She said she needed a place to stay for the night. I paused. She wouldn't tell me why. Marcus nodded. What did she have with her? Just a backpack. What did she do in your apartment? I frowned, thinking. She went through my kitchen, my bedroom. My laptop was on the table. She used it to check her email. Marcus's eyes sharpened. She used your laptop. Yes, she didn't ask. She just did. He ran a hand down his face. Did you ever check your browser history? Your downloads? No, I said, suddenly dizzy. Marcus, what are you saying? His voice dropped lower. Your sister didn't steal just money. I think she used your laptop to hide something in your accounts, or your cloud, or your email. Something she didn't want traced back to her. My stomach clenched, and the words made my whole body go cold. Then, suddenly, footsteps echoed through the garage. Marcus's head snapped toward the ramp. I followed his gaze. A tall figure stepped into the light. Then another, and then another. 3 men, all in dark clothes, all walking towards us, slow, deliberate. Marcus sat up straight, eyes going sharp and hard. Stay in the car, he said. Marcus! I said, stay. The men were halfway across the level now. Too close. My pulse went wild. One of them called out, voice echoing across the concrete. We just want to talk. Marcus opened his door and said without looking back, lock the car, don't move, no matter what. My breath caught. Marcus, what are you going to do? He stepped out, closed the door behind him, then said, calm as ice, what I have to. The moment Marcus stepped out of the car, I felt the world tilt, like the air itself tightened. He walked forward with a calm so steady it scared me more than the 3 men approaching ever could. His shoulders squared, his steps slow and deliberate. He wasn't reckless.
He wasn't impulsive. He was ready. I pressed my back against the seat, heart racing so violently I could feel it pulsing in my fingertips. The locks clicked automatically as I hit the button, my hands trembling so badly I almost missed it. My breath fogged the glass as I leaned forward, trying to see. The men stopped about 10 feet from Marcus. Their faces were shadowed, their hands visible, empty but tense. That kind of dangerous tension you can feel even through concrete pillars and fluorescent lighting. "Marcus Hale," one of them said, voice low but carrying. "Didn't expect to see you mixed up in this." Marcus didn't flinch. "She's under my protection now." Under different circumstances, those words would have warmed something deep in me, but right now they terrified me because I knew what they meant. He was drawing a line 3 strangers had no intention of respecting. The tallest man took a single step forward. "We're not here for trouble. We just want what belongs to us." Marcus folded his arms. "Then you came to the wrong parking structure." My breath caught. They knew him. How? Why? What do they want? What do they think I have? As if reading my thoughts, the smallest of the 3 men, eyes sharp, shoulders narrow, spoke up. "Your sister left something behind. Something you shouldn't have had your hands on." His voice lifted, as if speaking to me through the windshield. "Give it back, and this all ends." I shook my head even though they couldn't hear me. "I don't have anything." Marcus took another step forward, blocking their view of me completely. "You're not getting near her." The tall man scoffed. "We're not here for her. We want the file." My stomach flipped. File? What file? A cold chill ran through me as memories flickered. My sister hunched over my laptop that night, typing fast, eyes wild. The USB drive she'd once asked me to keep safe. An email she'd sent that made no sense with a string of numbers I'd deleted without thinking. Deleted, not erased. If it synced to my cloud, oh God, I wasn't holding something dangerous. I was connected to it. Marcus lifted his chin. "What's on the file?" "Not your business," the tall man said. "You don't want to know. I'm making it my business." The middleman smiled. It wasn't the friendly kind, more like a warning wearing a grin. "You're playing hero for a woman who's already marked. Brave, stupid, but brave." Marcus shifted his weight, fighter stance, feet grounded. "If you're going to make a move, make it." I slapped the window. "Marcus, don't!" He didn't turn, didn't acknowledge me. He stayed locked on them with the focus of someone who'd been here before, too often. The middleman sighed, rubbing his forehead like he was tired of the whole thing. "Look, we don't want to hurt anybody, but she has something she shouldn't, and people much higher than us want it back." "Higher?" My stomach twisted. "Give us the laptop." "No, no." They thought it was in the car. My breath went shallow. It wasn't. I didn't even own it anymore. The pawn shop, the cracked screen, the day I needed gas money. Marcus shook his head. "No laptop here." 3 sets of eyes narrowed. The smallest of the 3, the one with the sharp voice, tilted his head. "So where is it?" Before Marcus could answer, headlights turned the corner, bright, sweeping across the concrete as another car entered the level. The men stiffened. Marcus's jaw tightened. The car slowed, tires whispering against the ground, then passed, but tension hung, thicker now. The tall man stepped back. "This isn't over." The smallest one pointed at the car. "My car. Sooner or later, she'll figure out where the file is. And when she does, we expect it." Marcus took a step forward, voice dark as thunder. "If you come after her again," but they were already turning, walking away, not fast, not scared, just done for now. I watched, my heart thudding as they reached the ramp and disappeared. Marcus waited until the echo of their steps faded before he came back to the car. When he opened the door, I launched forward, grabbing his arm. "Marcus, what did they mean? What file? What did she put on my laptop?" He slid into the driver's seat and shut the door, shoulders still tight. For a moment, he didn't speak. His eyes stayed on the ramp, watching like they might return any second. Finally, he exhaled. "I don't know, but whatever it is, it's dangerous." My chest burned. "So what do we do?" He said, "We get ahead of it. You had that laptop for years, and everything that was ever on it. Backups, syncing, cloud storage, old accounts. You might not realize how much got saved." I blinked, dizzy. "Marcus, I don't even remember the passwords to those old accounts. I do, he said with a soft, humorless smile, or I can figure them out. I looked at him stunned. Why are you doing this for me? We barely knew each other a month ago. He met my eyes then, really met them, because I've watched too many people get swallowed by trouble they didn't ask for, and you've already lost enough. Tears stung my eyes. He took my hand. We're going to uncover what your sister hid, and we're going to find out why these people want it so badly. My voice trembled. And if we do, he squeezed gently, then you take your life back. Something inside me shifted. A courage I didn't know I still had began to rise. For the first time in months, I didn't feel helpless. I felt ready. I nodded slowly. Okay, let's do it. But before I could say anything more, a new notification popped up on my phone. Again, unknown number. A new message. Check your old email. You're in more danger than you think. My breath hitched. Marcus's eyes sharpened. Open it. I tapped the message. Another line appeared instantly like they were waiting. And don't trust anyone who claims they're protecting you. Some secrets aren't meant to be uncovered. The screen went black. And in that moment, I knew the real fight wasn't behind us. It was just beginning.
If you learned something new from my life story, please like this video, subscribe for more stories like mine, and comment down below where you're watching this video from. I'd truly love to know.